let's start and open the dev room. And a few notes which have to be shared with the other speaker after. Don't move too far on the left because otherwise you will get out of the camera. And that's the only thing. The presentation have to start on the half hour. So if there are minutes empty between presentations, we shouldn't start the next one earlier because the system cuts them automatically. We can change that, but then it's additional work for everyone. Then let's talk about this presentation. So last year at the EU meeting that is usually on Friday of before FOSDem, it's a meeting where all the people representing open source organization in Europe and also in the United States in some cases are meeting and discussing what we can do to improve the situation of open source at government level.
Are you going to use a microphone?
I have the microphone.
Oh, it's that one? Okay.
Yeah. And I hope it's muted. I hope not. Yes. Was muted. Okay. But anyway, my voice is strong enough to be heard around. So last year at this meeting, which is on the Friday before the FOSDem, I launched the idea of restarting what was called originally the ODF Adoption Technical Committee, because one of the perceptions is that ODF still needs a lot of education to be accepted. We all know, people that is involved knows that is a better standard. It's not a better format, it's a better standard than Office OpenXML. I'm not discussing the technicalities of the format. I'm discussing how much the format respects the standard. So how much is deployed based on the standard. And I know that ODF is based on the standard, while Office OpenXML is not based on the standard. It changes in a totally unpredictable way. It changes without giving any warning to the user. It changes based on so-called security updates, which are not supposed to change the format, but the reality is that the format, so the XML of an Office OpenXML file might change after a security update. I've tested that, and the changes are, in some cases, dramatic. So in one case, the XML of a two-page document went down from almost 12,000 lines of XML to just below 1,000 lines of XML using the same parser, so not using a different parser. So it was just a use of XML semantics that was completely different. Of course, the user does not realize this and thinks that when LibreOffice open that kind of file, the fault is at LibreOffice and is not with the format. And in addition, such a format is not interoperable because a standard should not change according to the direction of the wind, but should change according to technical decided consensus on functions. But this is something that no one knows. So the idea, I've talked with Oasis people, they're very happy to relaunch the project. Instead of creating a technical committee, we will create what Oasis calls an open project. Which is the difference? The difference is that a technical committee, to be in a technical committee, you have to be an Oasis member. So only a few stakeholders would be able to be part of this committee. While if it is an open project, everyone can be a member of the open project, and the difference is that OASIS members have the right of publishing the materials under their name. But as the consensus is to release all material under CC0, everyone else will be able to publish the same materials which will have the OASIS signature. And I think that having the OASIS signature is an added value because it's an independent organization, so it's not LibreOffice that says that the format is good, it's OASIS that says that. In the open project there will be 2 people from OASIS that will guarantee the independence of what we are doing. So why we got to that point? ODF is a standard. Yesterday I discovered that it's also a standard by law in Portugal. I've not changed the slide, but these are the countries where ODF is a standard by law. So it's mentioned in a law that says ODF should be implemented. The reality that we know is that, and this is in Europe, Taiwan is the only other country in another continent that says the same thing. But of course, showing that in a European meeting, mentioning Taiwan would have been redundant. But anyway, let's say that we have 6 countries out of over 140 that have mandated to use ODF by law. But we all know that the reality is that ODF is mandated by law, but is not applied, is not used, is not enforced. And this creates a huge problem in terms of interoperability. What is ironic is that the EU has created probably the best definition of interoperability, and the next logical step after this definition was to enforce standards. Because if you just define interoperability and then do not give people the tools to reach interoperability, and the tool to reach interoperability are standard formats, then it's useless even the definition of interoperability. And the benefits of interoperability are incredibly large, big, significant. Unfortunately, there's not a lot in terms of costs. There is only one research done by the National Institute of Standards and Technologies in the United States that is focusing on interoperability of documents. But this research, which is rather old, was published by NIST in 2004, but was hidden until 2016 in their website. So in 2016, I don't know, probably by mistake, the PDF became public. So by searching about cost of interoperability, I stumbled on this PDF, and this PDF says that it's one single industry, which is the real estate industry. So building people that look for money to build a large building. So they, of course, if you build a skyscraper 300 meters high, it's difficult that you have pocket money to pay everything up front. So you go to people that lend you money, but of course at the end of the year, these people want to know where the money has gone. And the problem is that at the end of each year, they realized that there was $1 billion missing. So they gave the National Institute of Standards and Technologies the task of discovering where this billion was, and the result was that half of that billion, so $500 million per year per industry, were lost because of pure document interoperability. So rewriting document, recreating designs because the standard were not used. So there is a huge cost of interoperability. We will have, one of the tasks will be to create research to try to define and find how to define the cost of this interoperability, because this is something that is interesting for people. Because one of the, talking to people that are using LibreOffice, but they're using LibreOffice with a Microsoft Office format. When I tell them you're not making a good choice because this way you don't have real interoperability and you have hidden costs. And they say, why you say that? How there might be an hidden cost on a document? Then a few days ago, like 1 week, I received a PowerPoint document. I edited the PowerPoint document with PowerPoint for Macintosh. I send the document back, and the people reply saying, oh, we see that you've changed it with LibreOffice because now it looks bad on the Mac, on Windows. And I said, no, I didn't even touch it with LibreOffice. It was done with PowerPoint. The difference is that I'm using PowerPoint 2016, you're using PowerPoint 2010, and it screws up completely your slide. There were 4 icons in the bottom, which are horizontal, and after editing with Macintosh on Windows 2010, they were vertical. And if you look at the XML, they lost completely. The XML saved was completely different from the 2010, and probably the parser made a mistake. So they put the icons vertically instead of, and that was an incompatibility between 2 versions of the same software. And if you look at the Office OpenXML, there's no way of finding a number of version that tells you it's a different version, so there is an explanation why the parser acted in a different way. It looks like the format, there are large alphanumeric strings, but there's nothing like in the XML of an ODF that says ODF 1.2, which is human readable. If I have 30 characters alphanumeric that give me the version, I need an algorithm to reconstruct the version from that. And that is not human readable and goes against the principle of the standard that should be accessible by humans, not only by, of course, developers are humans, but humans with a different technical skills should be readable by all humans that are able to read a document. And this, of course, the problem is that if we don't have interoperability, we don't have openness. And you know that there is a scale, the open data, which is crap in terms of definition as it is today, the EU provides this scale of open data. There is Excel there, PDF the Adobe way, which is not standard. Then you have CSV, which is not a standard format. I mean, it is a text format, but it's not standard because you don't have a definition. The separator can be a tab or a comma. So again, there's not a single rule for a standard. And then these are specifically developed format. So they basically cannot be standards because they depend from one single association. So which is the result? If you look at the documents that are on the websites in Europe, the majority are of the Excel kind. So we have a majority of documents which are downloadable that are of the Excel kind, instead of being of the ODF would be there. So instead of being really standard, the majority is not standard. So the reality, we know we have a battle of 2 standards. One, everyone knows that I don't like, the only thing that I don't eat are bananas. So for me, having a logo made only with bananas means the most terrible thing that I can see. Actually, there is not an Office OpenXML logo, while the ODF is an official logo. And of course, there is a whole lot of de jure versus de facto standards that you can discuss. Of course, I'm showing you these slides, but this you probably know all of this. But of course, this is to say that we will be working as the ODF marketing on this concept. So we will explain people. I've already got in touch with a professor at the University of Amsterdam. Sorry for pronouncing it badly. She's Tineke Egiedi. She's Dutch, so I don't know how to pronounce it in Dutch properly, but she's a specialist on comparing de jure versus de facto standards. So she knows all the story, and she is happy to share with us the papers that she has produced over time. We will have, these are research papers, so they're a little bit difficult for some people. So the idea is to make summaries which are really accessible for everyone. A one-page summary, a two-page summary that we can give in different languages to people that are deploying formats in a way that they can understand what they're doing when they are choosing formats. Then, of course, if they choose what for us is the wrong one, that's their problem, is not our problem. But at least we will educate them in using the right one. And of course, there is also the problem of 1 against 2 de jure standard, because Office OpenXML is theoretically an ISO standard, so it's a de jure standard, but it's rather clear for all researchers that having 2 de jure standards is a complete mess, because exactly what is happening in the market is exactly what kills interoperability. So you need a single standard which is represent the consensus of the industry, and then everyone follows that standard. And of course that standard should be improved, again searching the consensus of the industry, which is what happens at ODF. And I'm not saying that ODF is ideal as a format, but is as close as a standard as there are other standards. So ODF respects what is written on the documents. Then that might be stupid, and I think one of the tasks is to make ODF better, to improve it. But at least what is written by software is what you can expect from the description of the format, which is not what happens with Office OpenXML. So ODF at OSIS, there is now the technical committee, and here there is at least Regina, who is in the technical committee, but probably other people as well. We will work with the technical committee, of course, because what the technical committee will do, we will try to market it. So we will try to understand which are the new features and make advantages, or making those new features as strong points. There was the ODF adoption TC, and it's useless to hide behind a finger, as we say in Italy. That was closed because IBM didn't want to sit at the same table of TDF. That is the reality. Everyone thinks that it was closed because ODF is a success, which is completely stupid. You don't close something because it's a success, because the day you close it, what is a success can become a non-success. But the story is that they didn't want to work with us, and then it was closed. One problem is it was too technical. I've studied all the materials. People were doing a good job, but they were too technical. We need to talk to people that does not understand anything about formats. And when I say anything, it's anything. They don't even think that a file can be written in a human readable way. I talk, while we handle migrations in Italy, I talk usually with guys that are, they choose the format, and when I explain them the format, they look at me like, you know, like I was coming from a different planet, oh, is that, you mean that all ODF files are written the same way? No, according to the day, if it rains or not, we write in a different way. Today with snow, I don't know which is the version. So that is, we have to educate people, because we have seen, for instance, at when the Ministry of Defense in Italy decided to migrate, they asked us which format we should use. And I said, of course I tell you ODF, But what you should do is to make an internal test. So take two groups of people. One group of people is using ODF, the other group of people is using Office OpenXML. And then you compare the problems, and at the end you decide. And they said, okay, we take 6 months to do that. They are migrating 100,000 people, so 6 months is nothing for such a large project. After 2 months, we received a document that says we have decided ODF. I said, but wasn't it supposed to be 6 months? I said, okay, but if in 1 month you have one problem on ODF and over 3,000 on Office OpenXML, I don't think it makes sense to do the second month, because we have seen them all. Files that were not readable anymore, and actually the problem that they had with ODF was because there was a glitch in the format that I think was then addressed, but it was really minor. It was not losing images in PowerPoint file, having images going from one page to the other in Word, or having days that screw up in Excel. So it was consistent. So I think that we should get to the point where all the people that deploy documents do that based on information. We have to give them good information. So this is the OSIS website today. You see they are announcing open project. They will announce them at the end of March. And the ODF marketing will be one of the first open projects to be announced. We have an ODF marketing on GitHub already. I am the manager with Marina, but the idea is not to make it, let's call it company proprietary, although I represent TDF, which is not a company. We want to have it open to as many people as possible. So if you have people in the government that may be interested in working here, just drop me an email, phone call, whatever. I'm happy to give them right to access this, and we will have a mailing list, and I'm happy to subscribe all the people to the mailing list. So, for instance, yours, I expect you to ask to be there. But, I mean, it's not, I know you are interested, we discussed that before, so it's not because I force you, but we discussed how to do this, and other people as well, and for instance, Zdenek, sorry for how you pronounce your, if you have someone in the Czech Republic that can be interested, really everyone is welcome. We want to do that which is as open as possible, because the more people we have in there, the more consensus we will have on the materials that we will publish. So no one will be able to say, oh, you know, that's TDF, so it's, of course, it's pro ODF. We want to make the test. Everyone will make the test. I make the test on comparing documents, but I'm happy if other people do the same, because the more people confirm that the issues are there, the better it is for convincing people that we are not doing something just because we are against, but we are doing something because we think that going to standards is a good move for the people, is a good move for us in terms of IT advocates. So which are the next step? Who is available? So I expect really to receive, I will send emails to the different mailing lists in the future, so you will get one as TC members, but really member get member, so help us in increasing. There is a wish list of people that I would like to see in this committee. Of course, they're top-level people, but I will write personally to all of them to ask if they're interested. I hope they are interested. If they cannot because they are very busy, I hope they can delegate someone of their staff to be a member of this, because it will help them. Barcelona is moving to LibreOffice and to open source. It will help them to know about open standards. The Taiwan government is moving to ODF, so I've met Audrey in Taiwan, and I'm sure that someone from Audrey's staff is interested in being part of this effort. The Ravinder Singh is the head of standards in the UK government, so we will invite him. And Flavia is a personal friend. So, and these are just the first that came to my mind. So, of course, if you have people to suggest to add to this, let's try to do a real effort, not driven by any company. This doesn't want to be an effort that is driven only by TDF. So we want more people, as many people as possible, just because we want to show that we are able to do marketing of open standards in a serious way. And this is finished. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Speaking up Italian is fine. Or do you need to...
Because it's recorded, yes.
Thank you. So my question is, I see that you have a number of government employees governments who have adopted ODF, but the title of the group is marketing, and I can suggest some people in the Dutch government who might be interested in joining, but the fact that it's marketing suggests a commercial attitude. Maybe the name should be more something like spreading of information or dissemination or... I haven't come up with a better name.
We can add a subtitle, but it's not marketing in the sense of sales. It's marketing in the sense of communication, education.
So ODF education might be...
you know, we want... let's say that we have a competitor that is the most proficient marketing company, so we want to be aggressive in telling them we do marketing.
Government might have hesitations in joining because it's called marketing.
You won't get certain people from Dutch government agencies on board when it's called marketing. And when you call it education or similar, I think it might work. Yeah.
Okay.
We should consider.
Advocacy.
I'll talk with Oasis.
Advocacy is also a good name. Yeah.
Yeah, I support this. The same for the German Ministry of Economy. There is called marketing.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, the initiative obviously is fine, but government employees they cannot be seen with a term like marketing.
Okay.
Yeah. Perhaps a second way to get to the same.
Yeah, no, I understand. The choice of the name was to give a message, a clear message to the market.
Yeah. So, but the people I know that do this stuff, they are about education to the rest of the government about ODF. And so if it's called education, they will immediately join because then they can take materials they can reuse for themselves.
Okay.
So then that will be...
Yeah, advocacy probably is better than education then, because gives anyway a more proactive idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we should.
Yeah.